Hi everyone, my name is Veronica and today we're going to be learning about the geometric designs of Greek art with my 5th grade class. So to start, geometric art was found in Greece and it was found in the area primarily located near Athens. There were 4 periods to geometric art. It started with the proto-geometric period, which introduced the horizontal decorative band idea of art onto different vessels. Early geometric period, they increased the height of their vases and vessels and all kinds of their sculptures. And they introduced something called a meander, which is basically a black band that was added to the tops and bottoms of their pottery. In the middle geometric period, they added more decorations and details to their designs. In the late geometric period, they added things like animals in the human form to the bodies of their vessels. The purpose of their art was to show the importance of its people and their people reaching their full potential. It was used to honor their gods for public display, temples, and palaces. It was used as vessels to hold their water, their oil, their foods, all kinds of different things. Greek pottery was made from a fine iron-rich clay. In one paper that I read, they referred to it as Attic clay because it was found basically, it was a fine dust basically that arose from some of the different stones that were used to make homes in the areas. They used this clay to make pots, bowls, vases, urns. All of those things were sculpted out of clay. To make different designs on their pottery, they would take a mixture of water and that clay and use it to paint on the actual sculpture itself. They would paint their designs and imagery on that pottery using that mixture of water and clay. Once they were done with all of that, they would put their pottery into a kiln, which is basically a very hot oven. And here we have a picture of an ancient Greek kiln, which basically looks like stone that was hollowed out. And then on the top part, which is right here, they would, put in like a heat source. So they would put stuff up there, light it on fire. This whole thing would heat up, and then they would be able to get their pottery out of there. Once inside the kiln and it was heated to its maximum temperature, the pottery would turn red, and the designs that they painted on with that water and clay mixture, those would turn black. Here is a design of one of the vessels. Now, when I say a vessel, the vessel is the object that they were painting on. So here we have a jug, which was a vessel that was used to pour liquids. In this one, you can see that there are some meander bands that were placed around the top and the bottom, as well as some of the human form. Now, when this one was designed, the human form, the body was made of like a triangle shape, and you can see the bottom was kind of made of a semi-half circle. There are some animals here, which could be foxes. I'm not completely sure what those are, but they added in the animal element. And of course, all these intricate little shapes and designs. And here you can see that not only are these kind of like S design shapes, but inside each one, there's individual little lines that are also drawn to give even more detail. Okay, next, this one is just a picture of another vessel that I thought was really interesting. Here it shows the very deep lines of the meanders that were added, as well as, let me get a little closer here, you can see the people here were completely made of semicircle shapes, which is very interesting. And the people up at the top up here, which I would presume to be maybe a higher in social class, had more definitive bodies, whereas these down here were probably more like soldiers and were featured with the semicircles. These pottery figures, vessels, are the amphora, which is what we're focusing on here today for our own art project. These were very common. They were used for transporting oil, olives. They could use them for water, all different purposes. Now these two different ones you can tell they came from two different time periods. When we look at the one on the left, it came from a later time period because there's so much more detail they were able to add. They were able to change so many of the colors using different techniques. Their animals are a little more detailed. They used different variations of tone of those natural neutral colors within this art. And then over here, you can see this is more typical of what we've been looking at. You got the meanders towards the base. We've got some horses, what looks like some storks in between the horse's legs. And then all of these beautiful geometric designs that are very intricate, very detailed. Even down here, you can see like the different colors working in together. Next, this I just found completely interesting and thought you guys would too. This is what cups looked like back in the geometric days. Look how funny those handles are. How would you drink from that? It would be quite interesting. It's always interesting to see how things develop over time. So this is one of the first cups and how it looked. But once again, as you see, they incorporated their geometric designs into everything that they created, as well as, oops, I changed the picture. As well as, once again, you have those meander bands that are in there as well that gave a very distinct imagery that is only related to the Greek geometric period. And then here we have even more designs. You know, I'm not sure particularly what these vessels were used for. This is still an amphora, but as you can see, this one had used a lot more detail. They used what looks like more clay on the outside to put more texture into this one. There's more texture around the lip and around the handles. All of that different stuff just adds to the whole appearance of the project. So next, we are going to look at our design that we're going to create. So this is, everybody's getting a blank amphora to create their own image. Now you can see on mine, I started by creating a meander at the top here, another meander at the bottom. So this portion of the amphora is called the neck, and that is primarily where they would place those meanders. They would place them at the neck and then again near the foot. So I kind of like laid mine out to start my designs. I put in some geometric designs up at the top. And then I put like another area here where I'm going to fill in this area with more geometric designs. And then in here, I might add some of, you know, the horses and the semicircle people that we saw, just to give like another little band of something interesting. I may even add some more geometric shapes to this top area here. Basically, you can do whatever design you would like. And we are sticking to a neutral color scheme, meaning that for our designs, we are either going to use brown or black, which is symbolic of the colors that were basically the most common that you would see on these structures. And then for the color of the vase, when we color in all of those negative spaces, we're going to be using either this bronze, yellow, or tan color. We didn't have terracotta, so either of these will do to give those same tones, you know, that are similar to what we see in both of these photos. So go ahead and get started and have fun.